again everybody, it's me, Madam Macabre, and I am back with another Monday video. So as I mentioned in the last Monday video, there was the whole moving process and everything. So I was just last week, just moved in, and that was literally like my first day in my new place when I actually recorded that last video. Some of you guys noticed the green screen thing. This is not like my old green screen, which was like an actual curtain held up by tripods. This is actually, so you guys understand, like it's not something I'm putting up, that is my wall. So this is actually the whole room here. That entire back wall is the green screen. I figure sometimes I will just leave it green, but I will also have the option to put in green screen stuff if I want to. So very useful, very helpful. And but yeah, I'm done moving in here. I finally finished unpacking and getting settled in, so things can start to return to normalcy. I've got a big project once again that I'm collaborating on with Stupid Crow, a new song that I think you guys are really gonna like. We are getting quite close to finishing it. I bring it up a lot because we've been working on it for like over the past month. There's been a lot of work and stuff going into this. So I'm very excited to let you guys know that we are going to be getting it out for October. So that will be a little special Halloween season treat for you guys. And I'll keep you posted as we get closer to getting done. One other thing that I wanted to bring up here is that people have been asking me this for over a year now. They've been asking, okay madam, are you going to be releasing an album to iTunes or wherever so I can actually buy the music? And I've always kept saying, I really want to, I just need to get around to it. And I think this is gonna be the year that I finally get myself to do it. I've got enough music out now that I feel like I can justify making an album and selling it, because I don't want to just, toss. I give you my songs for free anyway, so this would be, I don't know, for people who just want to have them all in one place and, just want to help me out in my creation. Like, again, the music is still going to be available for free on my SoundCloud as always. But yeah, this is going to be something that will also be available for you guys. I am aiming, and I'm telling you guys this now so I can try and give myself a little more accountability, because before I would say there was no accountability on my end because I'd like, yeah, I'd really like to, maybe I'll get around to it. I'm the type of person, I'll procrastinate away and it won't happen. But if I tell you guys, maybe I will actually try and stick to it and get it done. My hopes is to get a new album out around Christmas time, get it out then. It gives me a couple months to get things prepped and actually done. And what I mean by getting prepped is I don't want to just rip all the songs that I've already released and just shove them on a CD, or, well, not a CD, it's digital age. Shove them on an album and send it off. Because basically, I've grown a lot in the past two, something around that years that I've been doing this now. And I look back at my old stuff and I can't even listen to my older singing without getting uncomfortable with myself. Not only do I feel like I've gotten better at singing, but I also have much better equipment. My old microphone and everything was not professional quality, and now I actually do have a professional grade microphone. So I think if I'm going to actually release an album for you guys, I'm gonna try and go back and re-sing and remaster all those pre-existing songs and then put those remastered ones on an album for you guys. So I'm going to be working really hard the next couple of months to actually try and get this out in time for Christmas season, to have an album out there for you guys, because I know lots of you have been asking and I feel bad being flaky about it, so I'm gonna get it done, darn it. I'm sorry, but it's getting like 12 million degrees in here, so the flannels gotta go. I love me some flannels. I'm in the Pacific Northwest. This is our lumberjack style, but whew, they are good for outside, but not always inside. Now I can show off my lovely... I want to believe I can get this album done in time and actually not procrastinate. That's what I want to believe. So it's a Monday, and as you know, I usually do story times and things like that on Monday. I do indeed have another story for you guys. So Halloween season, Halloween's coming up. My friend Highwind-Valor actually came over from the other side of the mountains, and we decided the other night that we wanted to check out this local sort of theme park thing called Fright Fest. And it was interesting because that was really the only night that Highwind-Valor and I could go, because it was the only night she was going to be over in my part of the state before it got closer. I'm going down for a concert in Oregon to see Alice Cooper, and then I'm also going to be going back down again for KumoriCon, and there's going to be a lot of craziness. So this was really our only time to go check it out if we were going to. What makes it interesting about having to go the other night was that a really big typhoon was actually hitting the state, and we were getting hit pretty hard by wind and rain that day. And that what made it an interesting adventure. I actually vlogged this experience for you guys. I haven't checked it out yet because of the high wind and rain and the low light setting. I don't know if the vlog is going to turn out all right. So I'm going to tell you the stories now, and then hopefully, if it all turns out okay, I will also have a vlog of this for you guys later. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that it actually turned out okay quality, that you can hear it and see it and everything. But for the time being, I'm going to share this story with you. So anyway, we decide to look it up. We didn't even know if the park was even going to be open because of the wind and rain. And it was weird because the rain was coming and going. We could handle just the wind, but when the rain comes, it is just like heavy, heavy soaking rain. But we're like, well, this is our only shot. We might as well see. We checked online. They were still open. So we're like, okay, we can go then. So we get ready to go, and about a half an hour before we head out there, we check online for their social media, and just then they had posted that they were actually closing early that night. So we're like, oh boy, if we're gonna do this, we really need to hurry and get over there so we can actually have enough time to experience all the stuff in there to justify the price. So we drive out all the way there. It's a little bit of a drive from where I live, so you know, we were a little nervous, but fortunately traffic wasn't too bad. You'd think it'd be bad because of the storm, but it wasn't. So we make it all the way out to the park, and it's at that point, as soon as we get to the park, it had held up perfectly dry, just fine, just a little bit windy, but as soon as we get to the park, it is just heavy rain, downpouring. We pull into the parking lot. It's about 7:45, and they're saying that the park is going to close at 10. So very limited hours, but they were still charging a full $10, the same price as they do in the summer when they're open all day and night. Still charging the full $10 for parking, even though they're going to be open for like a little less than 3 hours. But we were a little grumbly about that, but we're like, okay, we'll pay for we'll pay for the parking. But before we pay for the parking, I turn to the guy and I go, are all 3 of the haunted houses still open? Because if we can at least do all 3 of the haunted houses, we'll still go. Oh yeah, all 3 of the haunted houses are still open. It'll be great. It's even scarier in the rain. So we're like, oh, okay, cool. We can actually go in and enjoy this experience. So we go in, we find parking, and I go, and it's $30 to get in. They didn't even basically we get there, half the rides are closed. They're closing early, and they're not offering a discount or refund for people who already bought their tickets. So full $30 for that, but I'm like, whatever, this is the only time I can go. I'll just do it. You know, experience having a fun evening with a friend. So we get in there, and it's still raining pretty hard, but I got my little umbrella. And the first thing I notice is the extreme lack of decorations. Like, it's a little sad because I've been going to this thing since I was a little kid. And the park has changed ownership multiple times. And in the past, when they had a different owner, they went totally overboard with Fright Fest. There were decorations everywhere. There were actors running around in costume. They had Halloween-themed music playing. It was awesome. And whoever this new owner is now, they certainly did not have that going. We come in, and there's like no decorations except for like right at the very entrance. There's a couple pumpkins and sad, droopy corn stalks. And they're not even playing spooky music. It's just like the saddest elevator sounding track I could even imagine. And I was just like, okay, well, maybe it gets better when we go farther back. So we're like, okay, cool, well, let's go see the first haunted house. There's like this 3D clown haunted house thing that's supposed to be really cool. So we go all the way back. It's on the like far back side of the park. We get there, and They don't have any of the 3D glasses, none of the 3D goggles, I guess because of the rain, I don't know. So we didn't actually get to enjoy the 3D element to it, but we went through and the actors were kind of fun and it was still pretty neat, so we're like, okay, that's not bad. And like, we get out of the haunted house and the rain had finally dried up and we're just like, yes, the clown magic saved us from the rain. Praise the clowns! And we're like, okay, we're in a better mood now, the rain stopped. Because when the rain stops, you can definitely be in a better mood than when you're getting actively soaked. So we're like, okay, well, there should be the second haunted house just right up in this forest area of the park. So we start heading up out that way. And we find an employee because there's no signage anywhere, not even for the clown haunted house. No signs, no markings on the map, nothing anywhere pointing out which way to go. So we asked an employee as we get where we think the haunt is supposed to be, and she's just like, oh no, we closed that one because it's too wet. And at this point, I'm really starting to get grumpy because I'm like, I specifically, before paying the full price to park and the full admittance, I asked if all the haunts were running, and they're like, oh yeah, definitely. We give them the money. And now, closing early, not many of the rides are open, almost all of them are closed. And now, one of the 3 haunts is also closed. At this point, both Highwind-Valor and I were getting a little spicy. We weren't very happy with the park management. I'm still not very happy with the park management. But things did eventually turn around. But so from there, we're like, okay, this is a little agitating, but let's just find the last haunted house. So this park is huge. It's got like, the park itself, like all the rides and attractions, isn't huge, but the plot of land it's on is big, and it's got this big lake in the middle that's like a circle trail you can walk around. Well, there's a shortcut area you can walk through on the inside of the lake that makes the walk to the other side of the park much shorter, and that's always been open, and it's paved and you cut through. We go all the way down the hill and make it halfway around the lake that way just to find it's gated off, and there's a bunch of employees down there just in a circle chatting with each other, and they're like, oh, you can't go this way. There was no signage, nothing. Like, okay, if you guys are gonna sit around and chat in the first place, sit around and chat at the top of the hill, halfway back around the lake and say, no, you don't go this way. Like, okay, so now we're wet because the rain had started up again. We're like drowned rats. We're grumpy. One of the haunted houses was closed. We can't do anything. We paid full price, and now you're gonna make us walk all the way around back the way we came, and then all the way back around the other part of the lake. We're just like, okay, this is fine. This is fine. So we start walking back around. There's no decorations, no like Halloween music, nothing going on. The one thing that we did encounter, just randomly, we're walking past a bush and there's a speaker, one speaker, no decorations, nothing, with just the saddest stock, ah! And like, Highwind-Valor and I just look at each other and we're like, I'm sorry, but one sad scream is not doing it for me. So that was an experience. So we get around to the other side of the park, we finally get in line for the big haunted house. And again, there's no line. That was like the one plus, is there wasn't lines for anything because most people were like, it's a typhoon, I ain't going. But so we got right into the haunted house, and that's when the trip started to take an upturn and get a little bit better. Because the haunted house, that one was a lot of fun, especially because of the actors. There were some really interesting folks in there. There was this really, really tall guy with like a pointy dunce hat. And like he was covered, like the fabric was all black and he was covered with ivy. He kept like following us around the whole haunt. I think he was supposed to be out in like the botanical gardens part of the haunt, but like he was hanging near the front of the haunt. And then like, oh dude, what do I do? Instead he just kind of followed behind us, and Highwind-Valor's like, hey, I like your hat, guy. And like that just encouraged him to keep like sort of following behind us and like disappearing and then popping out in front of us again at later parts in the haunt. And it was interesting. There was various levels of spooks and different things going on in there. We get about 3/4 of the way through the haunt, and then we run into the doctor. He was an interesting fellow, putting on this really interesting, thick, what was supposed to be maybe a German accent, but he was a fun time. He was a very fun time. He's in there, ooh, can I give you an injection? And we're just like, wow. Highwind-Valor's like, I don't got an appointment. Oh, I can squeeze you in. And It was interesting. He was funny. We had a good chat. We had a really good chat, and then we continued through the haunted house. And it's pretty fun going through haunts with Highwind-Valor because her way of coping with fear is just to talk at people and like say funny things. So that's fun to experience with her. So we get out of the haunted house. We had a good old time and a good laugh. And by that point, we get out and the rain had completely stopped. And we're like, do we want to just go through the haunted house again? There's no line and they're not going to stop us. So we go through a second time, and basically that point in time, they recognize it's us, and they actually end up separating us halfway through the haunt. I get back up to where the doctor guy is, and like he's chatting it up with her, but the super gigantic monster of a guy like gets in front of me and like blocks me off from Highwind-Valor and like shoos her along, so she has to keep going, and I'm like, no, wait, come back, I'm alone in here. And then the doctor's just like, ooh, would you like an appointment? And I'm just like, I'm in America, I don't have health insurance, I'm sorry. And he's just like, oh, I'll still take you anyway. And I'm just like, this is weird, I'm gonna just catch up to my friend. But they wouldn't let me catch up to my friend because all these really tall guys with creepy masks and stuff were like cornering me. And then Hat Guy comes back and gets like this close to my face, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on here. It's a party, but I didn't know I was invited, and my friend's here, and I'm just gonna scooch on through. And then I'm just like, Ashley! Oh my god! Trying to catch up, because twice I got all three of these really big guys like backing me into a corner, and I'm just like, I gotta get my friend. Sorry, this looks like a good time, but I gotta go. And I was basically like trying to power through and catch up to her. I did eventually catch up to her, but she stabbed me in the back because I turned the corner and Dr. Guy's there again. And he's like, ooh, and this time he's calling my name, like my first name, and I'm just like, you, how, wait a second, actually, you traitor, you sold me out. She's like, I'm sorry, he extracted the information from me. So they were having a good old chat, and then she sicked him on me. But it was a good time. We had a really good time the second time through. And again, like that haunt, honestly, it was the actors in there that made the experience for us. Like, I'm still irritated with the park itself, but the employees who worked at the park did a really good job, and you know, that I can make the distinction between the two, because the actors in there, they had nothing to do with like the crummy stuff the park was doing with all the money and all the stuff being shut down and misinforming people to get them to still come in. But the actors were good, they were fun, and they picked the evening up. And from there, because the rain had stopped, we decided we were gonna check out a couple of the rides and all that. So we go on, they've got like this free-falling ride where, you know, it shoots up and then it drops you real quick. We rode that a couple times. We rode a whole bunch of ones. And then the big thing for the evening was there's this giant wooden roller coaster called the Timberhawk. It's pretty fun. It's not that old. Well, it probably is old. It feels like it's new to me because I've been going to that park since I was a little kid. But yeah, that one, I remember the line. It was years since the last time I went to Fright Fest. But I remember going to Fright Fest and only riding it once because the line was 45 minutes. We got on and got to ride 3 times in a row without even getting off. They probably would have let us keep riding the whole night if we wanted to, but after 3 rides we're like, yeah, let's not get sick, or let's just make sure we can do everything. You know, it's a good thing. Let's go see what else we can do before, you know, otherwise I'll just keep riding all night. We rode once regular, and it was cool in the dark, and the second time we're like, let's close our eyes and just ride blind, and that was horrifying and great, and I would definitely recommend it. Like, roller coasters with your eyes shut, that's a trip. And then we ended it on a normal one with our eyes open again. Then we disembarked, and at that point it was getting closer to 10, and because they were closing early, so we started making our way back to the front of the park. We like hit up the carousel because like I'm a giant child and like I still get excited with carousels. I have to run around and pick the horse that I want, and Highwind-Valor just put up with me, so that was good. And but after that point we're like, oh, maybe we can go through the haunted house again, but it took us so long to walk back around the other side of the park again that it was like 10 minutes to closing, and we're like, Yeah, it looks like they're shutting down, so we're gonna have to get going. But yeah, so I mean, it was a rough start, but at least it ended well. I don't know if that scream picked up, but just so you guys know, I'm gonna have to get some noise blocking material over there, because the one downside to this new apartment is I'm really close to my neighborhood's like giant playground thing, so you'll get a lot of kids, because I guess, you know, scream violently when you're having a good time. But yeah, so I'm gonna see if I can work on that. But yep, that would explain the child screams picking up if you get that, because that's a thing. But yeah, that was my experience at Fright Fest out here. I am in the Pacific Northwest, and I am always looking for new haunts and things to experience. If you guys know of any really cool haunted houses or just fun different things to do around this time of year, even if I can't go this year because I'm running out of time, but maybe in the future, go ahead and let me know in the comments below and I will try and check it out. I know I'm gonna be checking out a few down in Portland this Halloween weekend. So yeah, any suggestions, I will check it out. And what's your guys' local haunts like? Because I know there's some really cool ones like down in the warmer states. I wish we could go to like Universal's Halloween Horror Nights and like Fear Farm and all the actual cool things that we don't have up here. Because it's wet and cold and you can't do anything outside because you'll get hit with a typhoon and look like a freezing drowned rat by the time you leave. So we don't get those things, but if you have nice things, now's your chance to brag and make me feel even sadder. So go ahead and share the awesome things you got and any cool stories from interesting experiences you've had. Alright, well if you guys like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like and a comment below. It really does help me out a lot. And if you're new, I'd like to invite you to subscribe because I've got lots more crazy content, whether it be more of these ridiculous story times or spooky narrations and creepy stuff that I will also do on Fridays. So that is all I've got for you guys today. I will catch you all next time. That is all for now, and bye-bye.